So, and I'm a little. I need to leave the soda alone for real, like for real, for real. But it is what it is. We're gonna get it in. We're gonna make it happen. So anyway, you got the NBA playoffs right around the corner, which I ain't been watching NBA like that, Obviously, it's been an interesting weekend. Uh, um, Actually, now I'm thinking what Cinco de Mayo is Wednesday. Yeah, it's been an interesting weekend. For a variety of reasons, and it looks like it's gonna be a good month. Um, Also, shout out to Kevin knocking on the door to 800,000 subs. And shout out to O'Shea, who's got it at 140. Shout out to Artie Itmore, belated birthday. It's a lot of good stuff going on. A lot of good stuff going on. A lot of people just kind of growing. Newer people coming in. It's a great space. So I got a couple of things I want to comment on. Um, so we're gonna jump it off. What's up, Yusiki? The first things first. First things first. I'm gonna say this in a I'm gonna say it in every situation, with no matter what people you're dealing with, you have knuckleheads. And this is it doesn't matter if it's white manosphere, black manosphere, whatever. It doesn't matter, any area of activity. You have the quote unquote the few that are the most on point, and then you have everybody else. Now obviously with us we have more of an audience, so it's a combination of things. And generally, depending on if somebody is adversarial, I want to say enemy, because you're not just because you're adversarial doesn't necessarily mean you're an enemy. If you're adversarial, what people tend to want to do is they want to highlight the idiots or the couple of idiots. I think for the most part we can always do better, but we do a good job. We do a good job making sure our own stuff is clean for the most part. Obviously, there's a lot we can do to be at the standard we want to be. But understanding the zeitgeist, the collective mindset of the black community is of a black female. It reasons that the collective zeitgeist of black men being raised by single mothers is very emotional. So they look for emotional things, and even in the manosphere, unfortunately, logic does not always rule. You have people that they have emotional. They have things they lean the shit. Somebody that does sales and understands marketing, I kind of understand why that is, but you have people that, whether it's game, whatever, they don't. If you actually ask them to map out logically and a symmetrical reason for why they think the way they think, usually they can't do it, because usually it's an emotion, it's a feeling, it's culture. That's really what it is. Just like if you ask somebody why you're a Christian, I mean, the logical thing would be to say I grew up that way. That's what I know. But see, people don't want to do that because they want to justify it. So anyway, with that being said, because that's kind of setting the table. I want to make this fucking clear. The black manosphere, the guys on the JV squad and varsity squad, because it's a privilege to be recognized on this team. We are more learned and we're smarter, and quite frankly, I think we've been through more in life than most of any of these niggas that want to talk shit. You know, people like to say, well, this shit's just the internet. Yes, there's bullshit in the internet. Of course there is. But the reality of the situation is, and trust me, I know a lot more about what people are really doing than a lot of people do. But everybody that comes on this bitch has a life. We have dudes that are married, dudes that have real responsibilities, dudes that are professionals, blue collar, white collar, quite a few military people, active, a couple of active, mostly retired people, a lot of dudes that do truck drivers. This idea, dudes that are in medical, shout out to Super Triz, obviously BGS, people that are degreed up. And in this, we have been able to attract a lot of the younger guys are either in school or degreed up. We got dudes in tech. We've been able to attract, and like I said, certain people have more, credit on the attraction part than others. But at the same time, we've attracted people that are PhDs in this work. We've attracted dudes that are businessmen, lawyers, shout out to Dennis Sperling and others. And to be honest with you, a lot of y'all don't know what a lot of folks do. So y'all have no fucking idea really the kind of power some people actually have And y'all actually don't know it because people are not gonna be out here making themselves a target because because they think they got something to prove to your ass as far as your credibility. And so I want to make it clear that I will put the best against in the manosphere against the best of any of you niggas. I'm talking about black men in particular. Any day. And we will run circles around you. We will make you look like a fucking idiot. We will make you look like we have a PhD and you are a kindergartner. And this is a big reason why most of you all don't have the fucking balls and guts to debate any of us one on one. Even some of us don't like each other. Because the reality of the situation is, you motherfuckers know, y'all deep down know we're right. But the problem is, you all are trying to hold the fuck on. You're waiting for something. It's kind of like a movie where things are going one way. Y'all want that Infinity War, like gauntlet, like where they take the ring, they take the, you know, in real life that shit would have never happened. Where Tony Stark would have never just swiped the damn Infinity Stones from Thanos like that. But that's what they're looking for. They're looking at for that moment. Or on the flip side, they just looking for that moment that just switches everything up, and it's not gonna come. It's just not. And I think a lot of folks they become very surprised at what we know and how much we know and how deep the rabbit hole goes with us, because number one, none of them are really aware of the actual visceral back and forth debating that we've had. A lot of us had back and forth back in the day, and still a little bit till this day now. And the other thing is, they don't understand the books that have been shown to us or that some of us have brought to the table. Obviously, some people deserve more credit than others on that. I'll even throw Obsidian in there when it comes to some of the like data and stuff, but obviously BGS is one of the top. Obviously, you got O'Shea with his articles. As far as him having people write, people that have written books, even people like LAR, which people don't even know has a book. You know, and they just run into a buzzsaw. And I'm not even talking about on BGS's Shatterpoint. I'm not really talking about him. I'm not really talking about the dude that was on a breakdown. But I'm kind of am. That's one of the people. But that's not really a main dude I have in my mind when I'm saying this. But the reality is, y'all are not as intelligent as y'all. A lot of y'all think because y'all siding with the bitches that makes you somebody. That's really what it is. There's a reason why I say the bitches. There's a reason, because most of the actual good black women that are reasonable are the main ones y'all are cackling with the other women in order to compress them. And you don't realize how fucking stupid and weak you are. When I say weak, fuck what I'm saying. Those women know you weak. That's why they treat you like you weak as soon as you make them mad. And y'all are the worst, because y'all are the ones that really are the traitors even within the community. Y'all and see, don't fuck adult black men. Y'all are sitting and see these boys to suffer. Y'all are fucking up, y'all hoeing out these girls. Y'all are doing it by weakness of your inability to stand to really say what it really is. Because you care more about what a feeling of a bitch to inform what your manhood is than you do actually standing on what's right. You look for that bitch to tell you where is the North Star. If her emotions out of pocket, there must be something wrong, because god damn it, she's perfect. And you niggas are the scum of the earth. And quite frankly, like seriously, you niggas need to be purged. I'm not even going to fucking mix words on that. Fuck rehabilitation. Shit needs to be identified and basically excommunicated. This is why I take certain stances on people like Amiri Brown and stuff, and y'all want to play this back and forth bullshit. I'm not even really talking about C Boogie, because a lot of them have been cooking him up this weekend, but a lot of y'all were telling, I don't know what it is. I'm talking to some of y'all in my audience. I don't know what it is with some of y'all where, he got some good talking points and y'all are similar. I'm like, I don't know what the fuck you all are looking at. Because it's always some niggas that y'all will sit here and it's like, I'm not, dude. I'm not stupid. I consider myself a smart guy, but I personally think I'm averagely smart. I don't think I'm like, I shouldn't be seeing this shit like so far in advance from some of you all. I am not that like far further ahead of some of y'all. And some people would say I'm more on the square side. So how is it that I'm peeping shit way in advance to some of y'all? And then the ones that peep it may peep it a little bit later than me, and then those are the people that seem to peep it first. And I say it. It's time and time again where I've told y'all about certain people. And then niggas still like, take Steve Dean for example. Niggas till this day fuck with Steve Dean. Why? I don't understand that. I mean, I can see if people brought in views, so it's like, okay, it's a business decision. I can understand that. That's not true. And they'll let people say just the most off the wall shit. And it's like every week, and the reason why I get annoyed by some of this stuff is because we're having these like repeated replay battles. And it's like, fucking why? Why are we having a conversation? And look, Ramil, I'm not talking about, and any y'all have a right to have who y'all want to have on a panel. I get it. Some of y'all are getting super, some of y'all getting money, and some of y'all, the topics are hot topics. So if you make a hot topic, it's going to have people kind of go in. It creates a good show, and it can bring in sometimes, like, I get that. I'm not blowing up that spot. But there's better people to do that. I'd rather bring in new people. Like this dude, Paco, Mr. Black. I'd rather bring in new people, not people that already have kind of established that I always am wary. It's funny how black people love to talk about the short man complex. But the reality is, you got dudes that always want to flex on other dudes. Like there are dudes out here that they don't know who they are as men except saying they're better than the next nigga. And it's amazing how black people tend to lean to people like that, even though that's essentially what a quote unquote having a complex is supposed to be. When you're insecure, you have to find reasons to prove you're better than someone else. When you're insecure, it hurts you physically to see somebody doing better than you. Now, somebody would say, oh, well, that's called being a winner. Bullshit. Because nobody is a winner all the time. Michael Jordan is. No, he's not. Michael Jordan got eliminated from the playoffs many a times. When he got into the championship, but he got eliminated many of them. Them Detroit Pistons had Michael crying. Even Michael. Nobody is perfect. And I like Michael Jordan, but nobody's perfect. We all know as a businessman, Michael Jordan's has ups and downs. My point is, even with him, so that I'm a winner shit, no. Who you really are is who you are in your loss. This is why, some of the favorite stories we have is a comeback story. So I just wanted to point that out. So let's go through kind of some agenda items. First thing, Red Supreme. I fuck with Red Supreme. You should subscribe to his channel. It's one thing I want to comment on, and none of this, what I'm about to say, has anything to do with him. That's not a lead up to him, but he's just the first one on my mind, so we're gonna go at it. Like I come up with, so first things first, Red Supreme. Shout out to Red Supreme. I don't know how he can. I'm not a morning person, so kudos to him. That nigga he said, I'm going the morning slot. Fuck you niggas. Cool. Red Supreme is not about him personally, but it's kind of something that tends to happen, and I wanted to comment on it. I'm not saying he's completely wrong. He made this thing on his channel where he was talking about, I got to talk to you, quote unquote, squares. A lot of y'all worry about somebody's fucking. And I don't want to say, okay, that does not happen. Yes, that happens. That happens in the real world. That happens to a certain extent in the manosphere a little bit. But the thing about it is, the original point from a collector's manosphere standpoint as to why who the bitches are fucking matters. I don't give a fuck about you niggas getting pussy. I don't give a fuck about you niggas getting free pussy. I do not care. Let's be absolutely clear here. When it comes to the internet shit, black men give a hell lot more. The black men give on the side of, I'm getting pussy, you need to get on my level, give a hell of a lot more about what other dudes are doing than dudes that give a fuck about what they doing. That's the one thing that needs to be taught, that's said. That's number one. And I'm not playing this real players versus fake players shit. I'm not doing that because I don't see the quote unquote real players checking these fake ass players. So as far as I'm concerned, they're the same. So as far as this conversation, nobody gives a fuck about put dudes that are getting pussy or getting pussy for free, or they're able to get bitches to buy. That's not what drives this space. The reason why that argument ever comes up is it comes up because the women are taking the niggas that they are fucking, and then they are trying to make that the entire community, as if it is a broad stroke of black men that are quote unquote dogging them out. I don't give a fuck that dudes are doing that, because at the end of the day, that is their choice. When Ramil says pump and dump, that is a choice of a woman to engage in that. Period. Like Red Supreme was talking about, yeah, I done had women that, and he wasn't like being braggadocious, but he was saying, I've had women do this, and I could believe that. My thing is, that's the choice of the female. Whatever her psychological mindset is that you put in to sell her on that, that's great. But that's her choice to do it. What does that mean? That means that I don't want to hear black women getting on a microphone that a white man gives her and say all niggas ain't shit, for what she only would allow a very select few of niggas to be able to pull the fuck off. That's where I'm no, that's bullshit foul on the play. And then what usually happens, and not with a guy like Red, because Red has already demonstrated he will call out. He even said this in the same statement, like the very next statement, he addressed all of it. But this is what happens with dudes that would like to pretend to be a nigga like him. They will then cut in and say, no, nigga, you just mad because you not getting the pussy I'm getting. Basically protecting the bitch. So it becomes this fucking love-hate relationship. And this is like gynocracy shit, where you got dudes that they benefit from the gynocracy because it allows them to do more shit than they might otherwise need to have to do. It values it. Is this? Tariq talked about this. Tariq talked about a big reason why dudes are all about game and the underworld is, and that kind of value culture system exists, is because every time black men try to do it the right way, their shit gets destroyed. So that created this kind of culture of having to do it under. This is why, as black people, no matter what class you're dealing with, because that's another thing. This shit would be fine if you actually had true class lines. You don't. Only in the black community do you see motherfuckers slumming with higher grade women or slumming with lower grade women. And again, people are going to say, well, you just mad because of the pussy that I'm getting. No, but my thing is, it becomes a problem when women get impregnated by a dude, and now they want to be angry at the community because dudes are not trying to deal with the results of that. And then what you have is other dudes dirty macking, and what they do is they'll get behind the bitches and talk about, well, you need to clean up. You need to clean up my mess. Like the dudes will get in front and they'll do, you need to improve, you need to be better. This kind of like hamster wheel crap. When hamster wheel crap, then get mad when dudes just say, F it, I'm leaving. This is why it's always this era, even though Shay did it a little bit on the video he just watched. It's this era, if you can't deal with a black woman, you're less than. And I'm like, yo, if that's just so great, let the other races have her. Let the other diaspora black men have her. Let's stop playing this game. Put her on the sexual marketplace then. Let's see what the value, let's appraise the value. And if you know, I don't even play with that. I don't even play with that. Well, I'm just going to sell this narrative. Oh, yeah, well, you know, dudes, they can't take it. They can't do this because it's a lot to handle. No, bullshit. Nobody, no dude is handling that. No, dude, you can't show me no. It doesn't take a great nigga to deal with a black. No. And we got to stop buying that. Because truth be told, this is why the Z's don't even look at the door, because they're not operating like that. So it's like, and that culture is going to have to go. So it becomes this thing where dudes, and then a lot of dudes are capping like hell. And you can tell When you ask these dudes some questions, these dudes are fucking happy. They are capping. They are, I hate to use that term, but they are capping. That's another thing that makes me mad too. A lot of these dudes are straight capping. Like they really are. And this is where I'll then bring in the internet stuff. They are capping. And what they and they want to be like, oh, well, if I just talk down to these niggas, cause they're comfortable with that. It's easy to say black men ain't shit. You ain't doing shit. Just like how when women say, "Ooh, I could get dick from these dudes," that's easy. That don't mean shit. You really believe, like you saying, like a woman bragging about the pussy she gives away is like a dude bragging about taking females out on free dinner dates that they know they ain't nothing, no expectations. Ooh, I went on a date with this very fine chick, and what y'all talk about? Nothing, cause she was on her phone the whole time, setting up the dick appointment that she was gonna have after. But it was cool because we had a great conversation. I got great female energy. That's exactly how stupid that is. This is why these women talk about all the niggas they fucking, but ain't none of them married. And they ain't not only ain't none of them married, ain't none of them able to get a dude to really invest in them. That is what you measure a woman by, her network and the people around her. But they do everything and anything to dodge that. So that's the first. So my thing is the original argument. The original argument is not a whole bunch of dudes playing Pookie and Ray Ray versus EDL bullshit. Fuck that shit. The original argument is the common denominator is it comes back down to I don't give a fuck who that bitch fucks because I'm not gonna only fuck deal with black women. I'm always it's very simple for me. I date black women, but I look at all my options and whatever is a good fit and a match is what I'm going to deal with. I am not going to sit here and then go, oh, like y'all, some of y'all saw that video, like with the dude, the stream team thing, doing a parody of me, which was funny. I laughed. It was great. I'm not gonna be that dude trying to fight against the wind because somebody is imprinted in my mind psychologically that my measure of my manhood is me putting up with a bitch. I'm not doing that. I don't do that with no race of woman. And I give black women a little bit more rope, but even then, I'm not doing that. Who the fuck are you? You ain't nobody. And the only reason why that shit even can happen is because a lot of these bitch niggas are basically looking at these bitches through the eyes of their mother. And so they associate all this shit that their mother, quote unquote, did for them, which you never really know the whole story. And then you start imprinting. That's why they say your mama black. Nigga, you niggas are washed. And y'all don't even know it yet. I'm talking about the dudes that do that. And then the dudes that are able, a lot of these dudes that are able to manipulate women, fine, good. And some of these niggas be broke. That's the only thing you can do. If these women left, you would be dead. And again, I'm not talking about Red Supreme, but I'm talking niggas that'll try to pretend to be like somebody like him. For real. And I'm not just saying that to be saying that. These niggas will talk about game, but you start bringing something else up, they ain't nowhere to be found. You notice that? And this is why I've told people that will talk about game, like it's always these Californians, and I'll say, look, y'all are in a different environment because how expensive California is. So you got to be really on point in an area like that. So yes, I can believe what you're talking about, but a lot of these other folks are capping. So y'all got to stop getting around these dudes and letting them hide amongst you all. Because everywhere ain't the cost of living in Cali or ain't the environment of California. So a lot of these niggas are fucking pretending. It's like Californians understand the gang bang shit, and then a lot of motherfuckers that like to pretend to do that shit because it's cool when it's real where they are. And I don't see enough G-checking dudes that do that. And that's what I would want to see if people want to do this separation. So it always comes back to we need to talk to you squares. It becomes just like preaching. Understand something. Niggas that are players. The players are not supposed to be the majority. The squares are. The only reason why that shit is flipped is because we have a fucked up community. So this idea that you're not a competitive community unless you have a whole bunch of motherfuckers that actually are willing to do this shit the right way. So this idea of all these kind of like mercenary motherfuckers that get elevated because, and the only reason they're getting elevated is because the bitch are low key picking the alphas, and a lot of them dudes will validate who that bitch picked because in many ways that's the only thing they got to lean on. Then they wonder why people bounce out like, fuck this. I'm not playing this game with you all. So that's what it's always been. Do you have some idiots that they come in here and they got little axes to grind? Sure. But that shit gets called out. And that's why I generally and I'm not trying to start no shit, but when I didn't personally hear the dishwasher comment, but that shit, I would have been so disgusted if I heard somebody say that. I would have been so disgusted. I was like, yo, you know what? I want you to keep saying that shit. Because you start saying, because the more you say that shit, the more niggas are going to go SYSBM and say, you know what? Y'all can have all this shit. You know what? You can have all the black bitches. Go ahead. Have them all. I'm out. Well, what a real man. No. I got this nigga mic, this nigga remote control. I'm muting you niggas. It's over. As soon as if I would have heard that, because I would have said, I don't understand how you really, like, the fact that something like that could even exist in your mind is insane to me. The level of seriousness, lack of seriousness that you have to even believe that another grown ass, because motherfuckers really act like niggas can't. Black people talk like nobody's keeping us here. In fact, the society validates us being divided. The society wants the most productive black people to leave and go it somewhere else. That's what they promote in many different aspects. But black people love to act like, well, we all you got. You can't go nowhere else. Bullshit. Bullshit. And fuck those entertainers because everybody ain't no entertainer. And every always, it ain't better over there. Nigga, I don't give a fuck. I don't give a fuck if it ain't better. I'm not gonna be here dealing with your shit. Well, you need, no, I don't need jack shit. I'm out. And the thing is, every other group understands you have to create an incentive for people to stay in. It can't be this, well, you're going to talk about some other person. No. Why should I vote for you? Fuck what they're doing. Why should I vote for you? Because you're making the assumption that I can't make that work in some kind of way. And you have a lot of black people that they haven't like openly left, but they're kind of like gone, but they're in plain sight. And they do it in different ways. So that's the first thing I wanted to talk about. The second thing I want to talk about, okay, this is Obsidian real quick. So I was on Bernard Riley. Shout out to Bernard Riley. I was kind of cutting up on there a little bit more than usual. And Obsidian, there's a couple of thoughts I want to put out there. So, shit, we were talking about that Pac. And by the way, that Paco nigga, that Mr. Black, whatever the fuck his name is, he put a comment under Bernard's shit talking about, oh, well, I see why you, like this catty ass nigga. I need to make sure I screenshot that. And I'm not one, because I know how people try to do that with Kevin and all that. But understand, I'm going to call a spade a spade. You fucking tell me I'm lying about how that dude is acting. That dude is acting cattier than some of the females that we deal with. Like, straight up. And I'm not even trying to play him. I'm like, what the fuck? But anyway, he put a comment under Bernard's talking about, I see why you were too afraid to call me up. And Bernard said, email me. I don't know what you're talking about. And that's going to be a great interview. Because Bernard is one of the, when I say one of the middle of the roaders, I don't mean that he's blue pill or anything. But what I mean is Bernard's the type of guy that makes a good host of a damn TV show. He's the type of guy that you know what I'm gonna start calling these dudes? I'm gonna start calling dudes like Bernard like the Larry Kings. That way they can make sure that way they can understand I'm not trying to slick this. Because nobody has a problem with Larry King, and everybody knows Larry King in many ways was a GOAT. These are guys you can put out there, and they're not short. They don't have a glaring weakness. Like, he's been married, he's got kids. Apparently, I guess he's cordial with his ex-wife. He's in his kids' life. He's doing his thing. He's not compromised, and he knows how to ask the right questions. He's not gonna like let an interview get away from him. He's done a good job at demonstrating that, and so he's got all of the bases covered. That's what I mean. And everybody doesn't always have all the bases covered. You know what I'm saying? That's what I mean. He's one of those guys. If you say, okay, who do we need to put out there to kind of represent kind of the image? He's one of those guys, and so that's a compliment. And I know he takes it as that, but I want to make it very clear when I say that. They know how to ask the right questions. They're not seen as somebody that's going to go with quote unquote the manosphere doctrine, so they're not necessarily somebody that can be tied down by the manosphere image. Roger's kind of like that as well, and you have dudes like that, like mediocres like that. Poor Man's Podcast is like that. So and there's others that are like that, but so my point is it's gonna be a good I'm gonna be I want to see that, and I don't even need to talk to the dude. I've said what I need to say. But Obsidian was talking about end of life, and I'm like, and my thing with Obsidian, and I don't care if he hears this or not, it's like it's always an angle with him. Like me, I'm very direct, I'm very clear. You know what I'm on, I'm not trying to, but it's always just kind of like debate for no reason bullshit. Anthony Brian Logan's like that, and that can be very. It's like, dude, like he wants to talk about, well, are we leaders? And then look. I'm gonna tell you right now. I'm gonna tell you straight up. When he said, he was like, well, I don't know. I just asked a question. I think he said that after I basically said why the question was asked in the first place, and he didn't want to acknowledge that, so he just threw it. Obsidian never asks. Obsidian is very deliberate in what he says. He never asks something just to throw the shit out there. He never. That's not his style. He doesn't just throw random questions out. There is a purpose. He asks questions like chess or checkers. I know that because I play checkers. I don't play chess. So I'm gonna sit there and be like, um, look, I know why this question is being answered, and this stuff is just designed to try to walk. See, at that point, it's not about proving a point. It's about somebody proving they're smarter or trying to. We're not really having a conversation now. This is this impromptu debate. He did it even with the Paco dude, and sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. But I was like, dude, nobody gives a fuck about no end of life care with black women. Oh, well, don't you care about your moms? But that's not, we don't come to the manosphere about how to save our moms. Look, my mom is 60 years old. My mom has 3 sons. My mom will be okay. And is that something that is looked at, or I guess that it's like talked about? It's talked about, but not to that extent. But at the end of the day, that's not the purview. And in my job, we talk about things like scope of support. That's not the scope of support of the manosphere. That is not the purview of the manosphere, and that should not be. That is a waste of time for a variety of reasons. Number one, most dudes are on YouTube. Most dudes are not just on YouTube. YouTube is not just like battering ram that we're using as a political machine. I'm not going to tell the younger guys to be worrying about their mothers in end of life care. That's number one. Number two, I'm in the middle as me being 34, but there's no practical reason to do that. And then you want to do that with the women dragging the women with them kicking and screaming. And he made a statement talking about, well, the women are going to talk about it. That's our job. My job is not to be the caretaker of black women. That is not my job. That's not what I'm going to do. That's bullshit. I'm not doing that. And by the way, this isn't some bullshit where we're gonna demonstrate leadership. It's always this angle to get them to cooperate with us. Bullshit. You either are or you are not. But see, Obsidian, and this goes all the way back when I asked Obsidian why doesn't he date out, he said, well, because I choose not to. Okay, fine, admirable. Most black, but this idea of we're all we got, I completely dismiss that notion. That bullshit, because only black men are thinking that. Black women are not thinking that way. And that's part of the gynocracy as well, is the con that we're all we got. No, we are not, because the things that the women are doing are completely opposite. Men travel, it's a problem. Women have been getting stroked out in Jamaica and taking these bitch cruises. And I'm fucking tired of calling out the hypocrisy. It's like, look, do what the fuck you want. But at the end of the day, I'm not like, if we don't control the community, if we don't influence the community, and I'm talking about the fucking way that we want, including like what we're saying we're not gonna do, then it's not our burden. And anybody who wants to take that burden on anyway, well, that's on you. That's a choice. And the other thing too is, why would you? Why, if you're in a situation like where we are, why the fuck would you give a fuck about the generation that's behind you? Or that's, yeah, you care about the generation that's in front of you, because that's what the future is. So if I'm gonna give a fuck about some bitches, it's gonna be the younger ones. And we're not in a situation like we're not gonna worry about no chicks that are 45 and up. They are washed. Then I'll say this too: black men, we have plenty of things we need to fucking deal with on our own. Our life expectancy is fucked. Our health is fucked. Our we are the most homeless, the most in prison, irregardless how you feel about that. The homeless in prison, we are like, we don't have no resources to be worried about saving some females that want to be deluded. Let them, and let them be found in their apartment complex. The family member, like that's on, that's between them and their family. You know, my mom was like that for a while. When she wanted, she could be told shit, and she basically blew off the entire, like a lot of external family members, and low key was trying to blow me off as well, as far as like just pushing me away. And I told her straight like this. I said, look, understand something. This is where she really understood who the fuck I was. I didn't talk to my mom for like a fucking year. And I don't think she thought I was capable of doing that. And it wasn't even hard. The further I got away from that, the further less. And when I say less of a fuck, I don't mean on angry shit. It was like me living my life. And she understood that my middle brother and my younger brother are not gonna be the ones when it comes to that. She know I'm gonna be one of, I'm the oldest. I'm gonna be one of the main ones. That's what, and she stopped that bullshit. She stopped that bullshit when she realized that it was about to be her and her crazy ass sister, which is my aunt, nutty ass, it was older than her by like 4 years, and she was about to be left the fucking cold. Now, just like how Kevin Samuels has his mom that found a dude, and they're living as happily ever after as they could, in that situation, that's up to these females. Fuck bringing up some end of life care. I don't give a fuck. Let them do what the fuck they want to do. You gotta let them. See, black people are gonna have, like, black people. Every other group understands that if people want to operate outside of the collective or a collective social contract, there's consequences to that. My question is, as a black person, as a black man, do you have the strength to allow these motherfuckers to burn? Do you have the strength to allow them to drown for the next generation? Do you have that strength? Because if you choose to save somebody, I don't care if it's your mother. I want to be very clear about this. If you choose to save somebody that don't want to be saved because of your own emotional feelings, that's you taking resources away from where other places that could be redirected. That's life. So no, I vehemently disagree with that notion. And then Bernard asked, "Well, why that's how?" He was like, "Well, because there's not a better idea." That's not a fucking reason. Well, there's no better idea. That's not a fucking reason. Not at all. And that's not even true. And then I was asked, well, what do I think? And I said, okay, well, I think the black manosphere we need to enhance our image, and we also need to get better at accelerating these black men and getting them up to speed, not only with the ideology, and when I say ideology, I mean the reality of what the world is, the law of common sense. We also need to start having better numbers as far as dudes that are on point with different things, and people can pick a topic and pick whatever they want to do, whatever they're passionate about. You know me, I like the internet marketing and stuff. Some people, it's a lot of different stuff. It's a lot of different stuff. So on the self-improvement thing, Not to say that and then he said, well, the manosphere doesn't disagree with self-improvement. I didn't say what the next debate needs to be. The question that was presented to me was, where are we going? The debate is over. We won. That's when BGS says the gender war is over. That's what it is. We have proven that behind the veil, they have nothing. They have nothing to go on. We have a counter for for everything they're talking about. Even this, I was listening to some of the Lapeef show, and they had Kevin on there, and they were talking. They brought up the Black Manosphere, and that's what one of the things that prompted me to do this video was prompting me to it was mainly Chicago Rilla, which prompted me to do this stream. And they were talking like they were trying to act like one. It was really one dude. Let me be very clear. It was Chicago Rilla, and I was like, dude, you can come to our shit anytime you want, and you're gonna be in your fucking feelings. Because the reality is, dude, when niggas are in their feelings, is because you all don't got the intellect or the research and knowledge to beat out what we're talking about. So you get in your feelings to flip the fucking table. That's really where that starts. It really is. But my thing is, they were, and she was talking about like really more when I say mainstream, I'm talking about that in the middle type, like Poor Man's Podcast, mediocre, these folks that can kind of be pushed to more the front because they have a good image about it. So she wasn't even, Courtney wasn't even like really deep diving. And then Kevin actually brought up BGS, because see, a lot of them want to dismiss motherfuckers, some YouTube motherfuckers. I'm like, nigga, y'all on YouTube. The fuck you talking about? And I'm like, yo, if that's a problem, okay, we can present dudes like, because I'm not about to come out of my private shit for anybody. Okay, I'm Dennis Sperling, Dr. Tia Sandra. We got plenty of dudes that are quote unquote in a known space. We can do Dennis, Dr. Tia San Johnson, and we'll do BGS as the one dude because he's in the group and is known, and then we do Kevin. All them dudes are like north of 40, two of them north of 50, and then we'll throw one young dude in. Let's throw poor like mediocre in there. Shit, Jada Black, take your pick. Like Jada, like all these dudes that know. If you want to do dudes that you can see in the real world, if you really wanted to, we have that. We have. Please, we're not running out of people. Hell, technically, even Angry Man can. Angry Man is in that category too. O'Shea is in that category. O'Shea is a fucking doc. It will be. Let's talk about MOT, who's got military contracts. Charles Faulkner, who is an active duty police officer in Baltimore. Like we don't have a fucking shortage of people that can meet y'all motherfuckers face to fucking face on some manhood shit in real life. Me, this shit ain't serious enough for me to put my shit out there like that. Because that scrutiny Kevin gets, that shit's real. I'd even throw Fantastic in there too on this gynocracy shit. We got dudes that are married, dudes with kids, dudes that have lived. See, if that's the argument, and we got dudes that arguably have done more of that than most of y'all. And I like JR, I like Anton. Really, Chicago Rilla is not the worst person in the world, but he's the only one that kind of gets on my nerves because he's the one that likes to bring that bullshit up. And the reason I brought that up is because Courtney was talking about how she did her research and she listened MDR, which she did her research enough to what she could know. I'll say that. I would say BGS, but see, whatever. My point is they got laughed at as if, oh, well, that's just some YouTube people. And it's like the work that we put in, the books, the stuff, like, nigga, fuck you. Y'all just got to talk, like, understand something. Y'all got a goddamn talk show. That's what y'all got. And y'all put some money in it. Y'all ain't done nothing and fucking Fresh and Fit ain't done. It's bullshit. Because it's such a petty excuse. It's petty. It's petty. Even though Jason Black gets on my goddamn nerve, Jason Black raised $750,000. And no most like nobody, only a handful of people know what he looks like. Shut up. How How many of y'all niggas can raise that? And I'm not trying to associate my success with Jason, nothing like that. But my point is that YouTube bullshit is so fucking stupid. This is 20 fucking 21. Post COVID, where everybody's having to do online shit. Shut the fuck up about that bullshit. I always hear like these like certain niggas. It was a motherfucker on carrots and shit. Real men, they're not on YouTube. They're doing it as if we all don't have cell fucking phones. As if we can't be doing other shit while we online. Like, shut the fuck up. That's some shit Cherie brought up. Why she telling women, sleep with as many men as you want. Nico ain't gonna be the one at the end when you gotta deal with the psychological effects of that bullshit. She gonna be, well, I was just a crazy bitch that moment. My point is, you got motherfuckers, they talk out the side of their mouth. And I really try not to do that. I really do. I really try to make sure everything I'm saying, like 99% I'm saying, I stand on that shit the whole time. Anyway, appreciate Smargo. The issue I notice is that when you stray away from the conversations about chicks, guys and black men become lots as women. Feelings are it is true, Smargo. But my thing is, going back to I said that in self improvement. When I say self improvement, I'm not like I've always said. I'm not talking about self improvement. Getting a bitch is a byproduct. That is not the goal. The goal of you self improvement is to have personal power, your ability to move through this world, discipline yourself, move through this world. Now, I'm not telling you that the black woman is a bitch because you're not where you need to be. And if you get where you need to be, she will stop being a bitch. We have seen dudes that have hella money, hella power, hella everything, and she's still a bitch. So we know that this is the difference between me and somebody like Boogie, and it is or him. Is he's gonna sit there and say, well, that woman's a bitch because you ain't shit. Buy whatever bullshit to serve. I'm not gonna say that. I'm gonna know she's just a bitch. So if you want to deal with somebody other than that bitch, well, you can do that now. But at the same time, your access to other people. Cause think about it. If you ain't got money, you can't really traveling. You can't move through the United States like that. So it's about quality of life, health, money, time freedom, which is money and time freedom is wealth, and relationships. But see, nobody's ever explained it that way. You got some people that are closer than others, but what they want to do is they still want to tell you to chase that bitch carrot. Steph is Cold is one of the few that don't do that. And ironically, look at how many subscribers and how much impact he does have. Nobody, and then it becomes this, just like how it becomes this bullshit argument about gang versus no gang. And like, that's a bullshit argument because nobody's having that fucking argument. Oh, well, self-approved versus not self. Nobody's having that argument. That's a straw man argument. Well, what? And then it comes coming back to Obsidian. It was talking about, and like, well, we don't debate. I'm like, I'm not talking about the next debate. Fuck debating. I debate when it's necessary. I'm not looking for a debate. Really, my main purpose of debating is to get consensus, at least on what we disagree on. Because a lot of that shit be some emotional shit. Not that Obsidian does, but like in the manosphere in general. So people will sit there, even some of these audience members, where they'll be like, "Oh man, he talking about you, or y'all talking about you." Some of these niggas, I'm gonna start like I'm not gonna, because everybody's done this in good faith, but some of us need to start putting some of these dudes on blast. Because it's like these high school fights where they be wanting to gas shit up so they want to see a fight and get hyped up. That's some loser ass shit. I don't give a fuck about what. If I mention somebody's name and they respond, you know what? They're going to respond. They have a right to do that. I don't give a fuck. I don't need to know what motherfuckers are doing. I don't give a fuck. I don't. Like when people want to tell me, well, ARC said something about you, or like a year ago, well, Kevin responded. I'm like, I don't give a fuck. I know what I said. And I stand on it. I'm not doing no back and forth bullshit. That's not what the fuck I do. And you got people that's like, they can't come out of the debate. I'm like, fuck no. Fuck that. So it becomes this, I don't need to, like, so it's like, okay, well, because it's not a debate, it's not relevant. No, that's the thing that people need to look at. If you say where we need to go for it, because we've already proven that bitch ain't got shit to say. So now, Our goal, because I went back and I said, our job is to expand black men. Expand how many black men we got reached to. And then, yeah, if we find women that's on the team, cool. We get them too. Because honestly, eventually, what one thing you're gonna want to do is franchise out and have women that can kind of that are willing and can kind of serve. It's kind of like because we need to start eliminating all this bullshit people like to say. You hate women. Well, it's hard to say that if there's channels like people like Jessica and stuff like that. It's hard to say that. Oh, well, y'all don't self improve. Well, it's hard to say that if you got dudes that are successful in the space and they're more known. You do this. It's hard, and even from the technical and presentation space, there is some things that need to happen. Sure. So it's about kind of like consolidating things, and then making it easier for people to come in and grow. Like dudes like the Poor Man's Podcast, Mio, those are like Manosphere adjacent channels, and it expanding into greater Black YouTube. But I'm not looking for the next debate. Oh, well, we need to talk about end of life. Look, people can talk about whatever they want to talk about. But I'm just saying, I think that's fucking stupid. I told Obsidian, I said, what a woman hears when you say that is, bitch, you're washed. Let me help you die. And Obsidian said, well, I don't think you can speak for all women. I don't need to. Go look at Kevin's videos. Go look at some of Kevin's polls and look at some of his videos of how they respond to that. And you shouldn't need to convince. But number one, there's no purpose in that anyway. Because what he's trying to do is play this kind of long thing that slowly brings black women back to understanding the black men. No, it's deeper than that. The issue is deep. And sometimes I think the issue is way deeper than he's willing to admit. This is why he'll go on spats where if you really press him on it, he tries to deny the gynocracy too. And I'm like, dude, if you don't understand that, then everything else is eventually, no matter how much mathematical equations you try to put in front of it, it's still going to come back to that if you press the equation enough. At the end of the day, what you're not going to convince women to give up power. What in human history, most of the time, people don't give up power unless they're forced to. And white supremacy allows how the black community is able to do what the white supremacy wants it to do if it's going to exist while it exists through black women. That is not going to change. Black women are not going to volunteer that out. Now, if that's the flag that somebody wants to, a lot of times I don't really call everything out because man, some of y'all need to figure it out on your own. But that's what it comes back to. I'm not, no, well, the answer, that's why I'm not saying that's the answer either. But what I am saying is you need to do what's in your own best interest as an individual. Like when people say, oh, well, what about, like, or when they come at us, talk about, well, we're not about the community. Motherfucker, they're like, if there's no social contract, there's no community. You got a whole bunch of bitches that find us, dudes that find it, like community in that way. Y'all are still in this belief that y'all have influence, or that if you just do something or you get better, they'll heal. Though that shit is red herrings. That shit they tell you to keep you doing or keep you chasing them. This is why I said that. I said don't try to self-improve for them because that's all they know. It's like the 1 year. That's all they know. And it becomes this thing about you trying to chase the pot at the end of the rainbow, which is black female respect. I'm like, bitch, you won't respect me or I won't be around you. And if it turns out that I'm not around black women, then so be it. Then so be that. But a lot of black men don't believe that, or they're not willing to stand on that. A lot of black men, they don't know what their world would be if black women weren't in it. And I'm sorry that it's gotten to this point, but I didn't make this world the way it is. I didn't make this community the way it is. This is the community that I was born into. I am a child of the crack era. And the Z's are doing just that. They're not even walking in the door. They're just going to the other section. And what are the women doing? Well, why? We're playing. See, the first 5 years, them bitches gonna do that. They gonna ask why. Why? And they're gonna run that buzz off because they want to play. They think somebody gives a fuck. And unfortunately, the Z's are gonna be, they're gonna realize nobody gives a fuck. What's up? And he said, yeah. And I mean actionable stuff. Where information is, what are some practical things you can do, meeting people where they are. Shout out to the $5 super chat. Not know, well, you niggas ain't shit. That's why you go through what you go through. Look, if you look, whiners and complainers, they don't need to listen. They're not gonna listen. They're not gonna listen at all. What they're going to do is they're just not gonna show up and they're gonna keep doing what the fuck they do. I'm not here to convince you to do better. If you don't want to do better, that's on you. And sometimes people need time to get to a place where they want to, and you got to give them time. So what else? Going back, yeah, yeah. Have I covered everything? I think I've covered a lot, covered a good amount. Yeah, man. Like, trust me, I want to have a community, but I'm not willing to sacrifice my nuts for it. No, I'm not. If that female can't come off that gynocracy shit, then no, that's not my burden. It's not. I'm not. It's not our job to change them. No. And a lot, and what it always comes down to? What it always comes down to is dudes be so sexual. Look, I'm gonna tell you right now, dudes be, oh well, black woman is, that's who I want. I'm sexually attracted to that, and then they try to bring up reasons as to why that shit is what it is. I'm like, dude, okay, if that's what you want to fuck, that's your preference. That's your preference. But don't try to act like you a better nigga than somebody else. And I mean anybody that tries to pull that bullshit. You're not. You're not a better black person because you're loyal to your preference. That is sexual politicking. Just in the men doing it. All right, Morpheus 22 buffering, pay the Wi-Fi bill. No, what it is I'm kind of in a dead zone. I hope all of y'all ain't hearing me buffer. The gynocracy is held by men just as much as by a realization I made. It is. It is. But see, the dudes don't, most dudes don't benefit from it. A lot of dudes have, the gynocracy is emotionally safe. It's a mommy complex. Or it's an ego thing. This is why I said this like a year ago. I said the change that binds black men is ego and guilt. Ego and guilt. And black women generally use that in order to manipulate you like it's autopilot. What's up, sir? Anthony, make sure you hit me up with the Cash App. Is $Allen 100K, $Allen 100K. You know, he didn't have to be a pariah. He really didn't. But his hand was in too much fuck shit. And I'm going to tell you something. That's one thing I've learned. Like, I've learned that if somebody's truly a fuck nigga like I think they are, then everybody else will eventually figure it out. So if you notice, I don't go back and forth all the time with certain people. This is why I don't have any long-standing beefs. Because I said, yo, motherfuckers gonna realize this is a fuck nigga or not. And now they choose to deal with him anyway, okay, that's on them. But they gonna realize. Made by Ruben. That's a faucet of the Highland. Absolutely. Sounds hot. Rob, what's up? That Pac up here was hiding behind. Man, that shit was funny. That shit was sad. Xander with a Z. What up, Ed? Ray Hanma. What's up? Pharaoh, I made that. And whoever told, somebody put in the link, talking, yeah, Love Dorsey was saying, fuck Shahrazad Ali. I mean, look, man, if y'all gonna say some shit like that, make sure you email me, do a screenshot on your phone, figure it out how to do it, and then email me or send me a link. Because I went and looked. I looked on her channel and Love Dorsey, because I want to verify it. Because I'm not gonna just say some shit. Love Dorsey actually has a channel with her and I think husband now, or her husband. They got like a couple channel. So for people that want to see who he with, I mean, I'm not. But my point is, they got that, so I found that. But other than that, I didn't find. And I looked. So don't do that. Like, it's cool, cause I get it. because I don't want nobody me promoting nothing that you know what I'm saying. But at least do a screenshot. I know you can't do that in the chat, but that's what the Telegram's for, or email me. That's what the email's for. Do that. Just send me a screenshot or something, because I'm not gonna keep on hunting for shit. That's not what I'm gonna do. And I'm not trying to not find it, but y'all got to make it a little bit easier on me. They trying to blame us for 304 through accountability. Oh, that's another thing I wanted to say. One of the arguments on the Lapeef show too was that, well, this is an argument that always happens, is that black men, there's a gap between black men and black. First of all, there's no fucking gap. Like, black men have more money collectively, and we have more money individually generally than black women, and our hands are tied behind our fucking backs. So anybody that says that is uninformed, both male and female. That's number one. Number two, to the extent that black men ain't shit, behind every ain't shit black man generally is a horrible mother. You can't say these niggas ain't shit and then turn around and somehow edify the black woman as a mother. Those two things can't mix. And that's the one thing I told to Paco. Paco would try to play this sports game with whatever Jack dude, and talking about, oh well, a single mother is more responsible for the progression of a athlete to pro, semi-pro, college, whatever. And I'm like, no, those coaches collectively are what got him there. No, that's not true, blah, blah, blah. That's what he said. Okay, fine. I'll give you that. I'll sacrifice that pawn. So can you say, because I don't give a fuck about that, can you say inversely that these boys can't read at grade level at this massive percentage is the fault of black women, since black women are majority custodial parent? And he agreed, but then he tried to come at me with the black man is not in the home. Well, first of all, the man not being at home is really a black man problem. That's not generally a feminist in general problem. This coming from a dude that said he was a feminist, not a black feminist, meaning he didn't want to talk about. See, and this is what I'm talking about. It's like, dude, you can't even remember what you said 5 fucking minutes ago, but you got the nerve to tell me you don't think like a dude. You don't have a logical progressional thing like a dude. You think like a bitch. And I mean, I'm not saying that to be mean. I'm just saying literally that's how you think. You think are you serious? And then he said, "Oh, I don't want to hear nothing you got to say." Of course you don't, because you want to emotionally flip the table. Because I told him that no, hell no, that don't matter. Because that would only matter if the man was actually in the house. So my thing is, the question becomes, as BGS has said, why do the men not have the kids? Well, they don't want the kids. They don't want the kids because they didn't want to have the kids. It wasn't their choice. They were forced into it. Well, if you fucking bitch, unless you're retarded, me putting my dick in you is not a contract I'm signing to have a baby with you. That's not what that is. And that's just women trying to outsource their broken sexual selection, as that white dude said, onto men and front load that. And you see how hot girl summer these females are when they're not taught what proper sexual discipline is, or at least sexual accountability. But he didn't want to hear that. He wanted to get in his emotional bullshit and concrete. They let me finish, but they were like, "Oh, well, you're taking too much." I'm like, this is this bullshit. I'm like, dude, you don't even know what the fuck. I'm like, do you understand if we clip your ass out, like, do the clip? Like, do you understand? Like, man, that shit was crazy. Sup, Captain Cisco? Sup, Flip Cool? Nerds Black, you're right. You can't never trust a man that's financially dependent on a woman. That's actually, I probably say that's you. I worry about that more than niggas with daughters. And when I say only daughters, you're right. They are choosing the betas, not the alphas. Nico. See, why are you all like what the fuck does that mean? Like when people say why are you allowed, see, when people say shit like why are you allowing, what do you mean when you say allow? Like what does that even mean? YouTube is a public forum. People can say what the fuck they want to say. Motherfuckers always trying to send somebody on a send-off mission. I mean, shit, you got Yusef in that was talking about life insurance. I mean, I got people that can talk about that if you want people to talk about that. Well, yeah, Vince, there is no one size fits all solution. You're right with intercultural dating. Understand, no, I don't sell anything as the solution. I understand that certain black men are still want the hardware, even if they don't want the software. So you're gonna have to make a decision when you date in the diaspora. Yeah, what's up, this smooth one Turner? That is true, Morpheus. Yeah, but the thing about it is, and see, this is where when people sit here and they talk about, well, why does Jessica X exist? Well, this is why Jessica X exists. Exactly for that. A woman like Courtney could interface with a panel like that, a panel with her and some other stuff, and then kind of be brought in. Or this, I mean, I would put Jessica X over the breakdown. You also got Kendra D to the extent that she's available. And this is why I still think BGS should have his BGS for women. I actually think that show is more important than it ever is. He doesn't want to do it, but I'm like, damn, do it once a week. I'd rather him do that. Now that the Coliseum is kind of either on Art in the Stalls or Art of Itmore's, and he holds that. But even if it's like 3 hours, because I think Kevin's changed the conversation in that way. And I think it'd be a little bit different because you can't pull this, oh, well, we don't know, or they ain't all like that, because we can just refer to Kevin and all these females calling in. And they're not going to want to have to deal with that. Tommy Curry is another dude. Tommy Curry is harder to get a hold of. Yeah, shout out to Green Gorilla. Say, yep, you're right. I shouldn't have forgot about Ike. I shouldn't have forgot about Green Gorilla. Tommy Curry is kind of like on his own thing, but yeah. Yeah, I did dig in my nose, and I give no fucks. You're right about Ike, absolutely. And there's dudes that don't have channels like that that do, like Ghana Dan, Jesse Veal. We got a lot of dudes. So when these motherfuckers talk the shit that they talk, I'm like, shut up. Because if it was a white dude, y'all wouldn't be saying all that bullshit. Exactly, Dejan. You're on YouTube because you understand the power of the platform. I mean, goddamn it, YouTube has its own TV service now. So what are you talking about? Like, that's so stupid. Yeah, that's not like could you imagine how black men would look trying to promote end of life care? Like, could you imagine how ridiculous that would look? It's not our job to change black women, CJM. That CJNBC. That's not our job. That's not our job. That's not our job. Because first of all, like nobody can ever when I ask, okay, how do you change these chicks? These dudes can't never can map that out. You know why they can't map it out? Because you have no control over black women. You are not in a society. You don't control the necessary keys to influence them. Even like you don't have that. Because here's the thing, just like how imagine if black women said we need to change men, but men were always quick to hop the fence. That's essentially what black women do, except they call a white man on your ass. So no, black that's like that's kind of like a last vestige of the gynocracy when dudes want to believe you. You cannot change females. That leadership shit is a lie. That is a lie, and niggas need to stop. Oh, if I'm a leader and the strength of my manhood and my alphaness is gonna make her believe. Anybody believes that at this point? I mean, y'all gonna just be crash dummies. That's all I got to say. You can't fit like nobody. Look, hey CJ, I look forward to you doing a video on how you plan to do that. And I want actionable ways for you to fix black women. There was a guy by the name of Lowcast that I used to deal, do YouTubes with, and he used to call it cracking the whip. And I asked him, how do you crack the whip? He never wanted to say it because I told him, I said, when you say crack the whip, I think slap the shit out of her. And legally we can't do that. Like, my thing is, do you really believe there's some shit you know that all the black men behind you don't know? Dudes like to lean, and I understand what that is. I understand where there's certain people that they just want the idea that something's out there and it gives them comfort. Black men want the idea that if black men got their shit together, black women would change because that helps them sleep at night. Because a lot of black men will go into depression if they kind of understood shit as I understand it. They can't psychologically handle that. I understand that, but make no mistake, that's what the fuck that is. What's up, Tac Man? What's up, Willa R? New Knives. Yo, this is a great talk. I appreciate that, man. The first time I seen you in the chat, so welcome. I do a lot of these rants. I need to start building that TikTok and stuff. Off subject, but did you see the MK movie? I give it 4 of 5. No, I wouldn't give it that, Ray Hannah. I mean, the first fight, the second fight, positive things I like. The first fight, the second fight, how Scorpion Sub-Zero came out. I actually liked how Cabal came out. People are kind of clowning that, but that if you really understand like what the Black Dragon's supposed to be, that actually made a lot of sense. Kano did well. I think Kung Lao did pretty good. I think how they did that Soul Steel was good. I think the Jax ended up looking as far as how he came out. Because a lot of people thought that he was going to look like a clown or be a clown, and he was actually, it was a good out. That's not exactly the route I would have took, but I know the actor from Supergirl. Exactly, Willard. There's only trade-offs. Yeah, it is what it is. I'm disappointed in Six to God. She can go in on the manosphere, but she ain't stopping shit. She's gonna talk about the manosphere she's gonna play that divisive bullshit. Where the manosphere is being divisive. And understand that any female that will tell you to not be divisive, that's you know what that tells you? That tells you that they don't recognize that something's really fundamentally wrong with the quote unquote community. And that means they are a part of the problem. And I'm telling you, like, even though some of these women can move women along to a certain extent, I am not one of these people. I don't give a fuck what you look like. At the end of the day, you know, I'm a sift and sort the real shit from the bullshit. And at the end of at the end of the day, man, she's one of there's a reason I lump her and Danica Marie kind of in the same camp. There's a reason I do that. But I'm not. But that's another thing, y'all. Too. I'm not worried about what certain. I don't give a fuck about what she says. Like, think about it. I'm not even like take. You got mediocre. This out there. You got a whole bunch of dudes that's come. There's channels that are growing. And so the influence is getting stronger, and you know, I say ours, and you know, I need to get, like, I be going back and forth whether I want to get my channel on point or not. But is the shit is moving in the direction it needs to be moved. And all of that device, oh well, you're divisive, y'all are top, man, fuck that. Because all they're gonna do is they're gonna keep saying shit, and they're just gonna keep saying shit. Once I realized that, like, if you say, oh well, y'all niggas ain't got no money, now we got people in the manosphere that you see the money they got. Oh, now y'all niggas ain't got no, like, academic bullshit. Now you got people like it doesn't matter. They're just going to say something. That's all they're gonna do. But anyway, I need to go in for a second. I just want to go in your stuff. Well, I don't care about that business model. He did, because he had a lot of that. But the problem is, I don't care about people caring about the community, but you can tell these people haven't mapped out their stuff to conclusion. They have these gaps where they just expect you just to, like, magically float past the gap and just not acknowledge the gap. And it's like, okay, so you're not serious, because you don't. I'm not saying everybody has to have everything answered, but these are simple questions. If you don't have the answers, it's because you're not really wanting to change anything. Not really. You just want to speak to it. I get no fucks. Yeah, I listen to David Carroll. Exactly. I mean, and that's the only conclusion. So when dudes sit here and talk about, well, we need to fix our women. I mean, look, shout out to CJ shout out to him, but like, dude, we've been hearing that for a long time. There is no, like, you have no control over your women. And I have yet to see somebody actually be able to articulate how you do. You don't have control over your daughter. Even, like, shout out to Ramil, you don't have control over your daughters. Everything you do in that sense, you have permission to do it. And so I don't, like, a lot of y'all be coming on this bullshit about what y'all think y'all running. And I'm like, the only power you have is the power of your own choices. And hell, they don't like the fact you have that power. That's why they bitch about that all the time. What do you think all the dick policing and everything designed to do? It's designed to be a level of control for the anomaly that you can choose. And so everything is designed to keep you from understanding you have a choice. That's what it's when dudes say, "Yeah, man, we need to fix our women." I'm like, that's a Disney fantasy that the dudes need to hold on to. Oh, we need to fix our women, as if, oh well, what a thought. You're the first person. You, like, motherfuckers think they Aristotle, or they think that the apple hit them on the head, and that's when they realize gravity. I'm not even trying to play you. I'm just saying for real. Like, you know, you really think you're the first person to really believe that? We need to change our women. As if dudes are just sitting here idle, just saying, well, I'm perfectly okay with the way black women are, and I could change them, but I just don't feel like it. Well, we need to build businesses and do all this other that bullshit. Like, and if that's what people need, if that's what y'all need to believe, then God bless you. Like, I'm not here to pop people's fucking bubbles. Anyway, all right, y'all. I appreciate it. With that being, like, I'm done. Chill out. So with that being said, yeah. I mean, I don't give a damn about. I mean, who like no money in on the manosphere. That's high. That's another thing I'm gonna say. You got Jason Black. Everybody's going in on the manosphere. If the manosphere wasn't important, then motherfuckers wouldn't be talking about it. So if anything, you hearing people go in on the manosphere should be telling you that what we're doing is right. Because those people that like to go in and they like to have, because even Nico, like all these women, they like to have their little rants from the safe space of their YouTube channel, and they won't actually engage. And here's the thing: you don't have to engage with me. You can pick and choose anybody in the manosphere to engage with. BGS, Green Gorilla, O'Shea, anybody. Dr. T. Johnson, Dennis Sperling, anybody. But they don't do that because they know that they will be exposed. Understands like two or three questions to expose a lot of these people. And why would they? Why would they mess up? If you got like subscribers that are north of 100 or 50 or 20, why the fuck would you subject yourself to that? No, you're gonna be in your little castle as long as you can be. But here's the problem. The problem is that if you're not willing to get out there and really get in the mud, all that propaganda shit doesn't work anymore. And it's not because the manosphere is so great. It's because the environment isn't going to change. The environment, like COVID, has accelerated things by like 4 or 5 years. So it is not that the manosphere is like doing all of this on its own or really doing all of this. What it really is that the environment is shifting, and so love is great. But black love is great to talk that shit. But when you refuse to settle, but you can't get the motherfucker you want, then these women will abandon black love with the whiteness. They don't believe that. And the further in the delusion that a lot of these people go into, look, it's musical chairs. Understand that as delusional as a lot of black women be, other women are looking at raiding your men. And going in on them, and the real issue, like if I had to point out the issue to these, because I haven't heard what you're saying, but it's going that you're just not making it up, Jim Rat. To the issue that somebody like Six Goddess is gonna have with the man is that she'll say, well, it's because these niggas ain't shit. It's because these niggas talking a lot of shit. Understand something. If we really ain't shit and we're weak and we're all the negative things that women love to go to talk about black men, if we're all of that, then what we say would not be relevant. It wouldn't be relevant to even speak on it. Let's just keep it real. Like, dudes don't give a fuck about what fat bitches say. It's not relevant. So the fact that it's even worth being spoken on kind of kills that. But the biggest thing that a lot of these women is they see us as a problem because we make their job harder because we're basically moving the barrier as to what women have to do to actually get to an acceptable standard. And that's the real issue they have with us. They think so. You'll generally hear women like that talk about how we're corrupting the guys. Understand something. The biggest promoter of black female fucker is black women. Black men generally don't give a shit about what other black men are talking about unless they've experienced the shit themselves. So this idea that we're basically changing them, that's bullshit. Black women, so whatever. Shout out to the Roger Report. Just got here, but some women want the community to approve while they're still in charge. The issue is they want men to do all the work. That equals absolutely. And understand that, just like how Jason Black and a lot of your pro blacks will tell you, white supremacy is about deception. So is this is about deception too. And it's amazing how if you take those same ideas and you apply it to other things, how they all of a sudden want to make it like, oh well, it's not really, that's not really what it is. The exact same tactics that you see white people, white men use online is the same tactics you see black women. It's the exact same playbook, but they don't want you to apply the playbook there. So yeah, my thing is, look, and it's this idea that, oh, you hate black women. I don't hate black women. I don't hate them at all. But at the same time, I'm not about to look. I don't tolerate this. I tolerate a hell of a lot more from black women than I tolerate from non-black women. And that's one thing that I think gets misunderstood and not under, like, people act like we're giving other women passes where no, we're not. We're just holding you to hold, like it's no. And we're gonna game up these dudes. And I don't care. I don't care what they choose, but they're gonna do what they need to do, going with all eyes open. That's the goal. Now, if you can't, now if women can't get away with the bullshit that they've been getting away with for the longest time, then I'm sorry. That's not my problem. It's not. But see, these are coming from the same motherfuckers that don't need no man. And then the argument that she likes to bring up is, her argument is, black, like, men need women. Yes, to a certain extent. When I say need, well, black, like men, they need feminine companionship. Yeah, you come from a matriarchal situation where like other races of men are not operating like that. Other races of men are not ceding their control for matriarchal companionship. Like, for instance, the way she talks like an all boys school just couldn't work better than a co-ed school. Men don't need women in the way that she tries to present it. See, she's one of these people that'll try to present men. Like, for instance, she'll talk about what Africa's made. She hasn't said this, but this, I've heard this type. Africa's matriarchal, but not understanding what a real matriarchy is. And dudes are still really running society. Women just have powers here and there, but dudes are still really running the society. But they'll try to apply that. And they sit there and they always try to sneak it in. And you start to realize, well, y'all are just going, that's why I keep telling y'all 80-20, 80-20. They're just going to keep sneaking it in. You just got to be ready for it and understand it. And you just got to be ready to say, look, you keep sneaking it in. I'm just not even going to, you're not going to get it through. You keep trying and it's going to be replaced. It is what it is. I'm not going to sit here and battle with you over this bullshit. Well, okay, you can say, well, you're gay, you're this. Okay, whatever. You can think what you want to think. You can believe what you want, whatever makes you sleep at night. And that's where, this is why Xanatos Clutch talks about indifference. They want you all to give up your choice. That's what they want. They want you to believe you need them. Even if I give you that men want feminine companionship, okay, you don't need to deal with black women to get that. And this is where Shay starts talking, well, you have more. Fuck what I have in common. That's stupid. Like, I like the answer Myron gave on Myron. And he said, yo, I don't need female friends. That's what my boys are for. That's not what women are for. They're not for that. And I'm glad he said it, because nobody can sit there and talk about, oh, well, that nigga gay, blah, 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 on some immature shit. And he was talking to white women, it was like one black woman. And he was talking to them like, that's fucking stupid that you would even suggest that. And by the way, Steve Harvey has admitted that same shit. And we already know Steve Harvey ain't gay. Jim Rat, it is a myth. Yeah, and I generally hear that from ADOS black women. I don't hear that from African black women. Well, I mean, mannerisms, man, like, I pay attention to what comes out of people's mouth, because that's what I can hold you to. I'm not really analyzing people to that extent. I'm not. But a lot of y'all got to stop looking at, like, even, you notice that I don't use words like strag and all, because honestly, man, I'm not here to call people names. Yeah, you hear me use bitch and all that. That's a Chicago thing. But I'm not really here to. I'm not. No, that's not what I'm doing. I'm here for the points. That's what I'm here for. I'm not here to call a chick a name or do the name, I'm here for the points. That's all I care about. I'm not caring about, oh, well, she's a this. I'm not this. She's probably a nice person. But at the same time, I can still say, I agree with 80% of what you're saying. This is the 20%. And this is an important 20%. This 20% is weighted a lot more than the 80%. So you want to see, and I'm like, this is not how it's working. And we're not going back to that. Y'all, the best y'all had was that stepdaddy insurance policy. Y'all fucked that up. We're not going back there. And if y'all keep trying, then, these Z's are getting older. They're not even talking to y'all. And it don't matter how much femininity y'all do at that point. It ain't gonna matter because they're already socialized to not need to fuck with you like that. So the clock is not with them. The clock is with us. Like, these Z's don't need our influence. They're doing what they're doing on their own, and then they just happen to find us. They're doing what they're doing offline. Nobody's playing. Yeah, so it's like, okay. Like, and I keep telling y'all, I don't sit there and make all these assumptions about females. I let them tell me, I listen, and then I listen to what they say and what they've said. And if they start saying bullshit, I'll call that out if I hear it. But I'm not listening to them like that. And that's why, like, I don't knock y'all if y'all tell me what somebody said. But, I do want y'all to get link videos and stuff because I do want to hear it myself. Because I'm not going to just react. I'm assuming what you saying is what she said, but my thing is, I don't have this kind of fear of I'm gonna fall in love with a bitch. So what she says, I'm gonna just start listening. I've never been programmed that way, and that's why a lot of dudes are really big on wanting to call women names and all of that, because they gotta kind of low key dehumanize them, because a lot of dudes understand they're easily lulled into that situation. That's not me. I can be cool with you and you start saying some dumb shit, I get clarification. Like, okay, I'll readjust the way I operate. That's really what that is. A lot of dudes, they don't have that mechanism. So y'all got to put all this stuff in the way to be like, oh, well, she's this, she's that. I don't need to do that. As soon as somebody start talking, because as soon as somebody start talking crazy, that's logic. I'm not gonna be like, oh, well, emotionally, maybe she just may see. That's how a lot of dudes a lot of black, and I get why black men are like that, because black men got this thing where they're looking for women that are exceptions to the rule. I told you all why I do what I do. And so women work and they don't. But at the end of the day, I know that we had if our people had a general conversation with these women, and even if it's one on one, and we had an actual sit down conversation, and it couldn't be no manufactured BS, we already know what's gonna happen. They're gonna want to come at it where there's things black men need to do this. Look, we've been having that argument forever. What do you think about Shahrazad Ali saying the black woman never? This is how I would say. Do you believe that the black man has been properly examined? Yes or no? Simple questions, not a gotcha question. Okay, so what do you think about Shahrazad Ali saying 30 years ago that the black woman hasn't been examined? Or 20 years ago? 30 years ago. Now, since that time, do you think black women have improved or has it gotten worse? It's really simple. But see, it can never be. It's really simple, and and really what it is varying degrees to it. But it's women that they want to do it doesn't matter because I get it. But the thing is, I'm not. This is why I don't worry about changing them because I'm not worried about that. That's between them and their life. Yeah, what's up, Solo TV 84? Well, he did one video with Ramil when it comes to the crypto stuff, so y'all should check it out. But yeah, it is what it is. It is what it is, man. But I've never been that way. Y'all be leaning on what these chicks say way too much. The, anyway. Yeah. And that's why, look, I ain't got no problem if y'all want to send me something I don't know. If y'all don't send me something I don't know and I ain't seen, I'm fine with looking at it. But I looked, that one, whoever sent me that, and you know, it's cool. I looked up and down and I didn't see it. And I'm like, man, and I know it wasn't nothing, it was just deleted. But yeah, I think this stuff is going in some good directions from a variety of stuff. So anyway, you know, like I said, I already said I gotta go. No, I wouldn't. I wouldn't debate Sinji. I wouldn't debate her. We need a special person for her, and I'm not that person. I'm not that person, and I'm gonna tell you why. I'm gonna tell you why. Once Sinji said that she thought the majority of black men were low lives, and I heard her say that, and she said that on I think O'Shea's platform. She didn't say that just on her shit because I never listened to her shit. She was on somebody else's platform and she said that in the conversation. There's nothing needs to be said after that. She said what she thought she really thinks. What is there to debate? You know, Sinji is gonna say black men don't build. Black men don't build because they're not socialized to build. The ones that don't, and the ones that don't socialize to build, well, you got to go no further than who their first teacher was. That's where it starts. You change that, you change everything. Now, if you're not willing to admit that, there's nothing really to talk about. Well, Tariq Nasheed brought Cynthia G to the dance in the first place. So Cynthia G's destruction, I can lay at the feet of Tariq Nasheed and Boyce Watkins. Everything she does is both of their fault. And I like Tariq, but that's their fault. They did that. And I want y'all to remember that shit. Yeah, it's fine. Here, I gave Solo a wrench. Understand something. I said what I said, and you know, I understand time. Sometimes people need time. It is what it is. Hello. I actually got some interesting stuff coming up. So anyway, um, no, there's better people to debate. If I was gonna pick people to quote unquote, first of all, if anybody I would want to debate her, like, there's better people to debate. There's better people to debate. But the problem is nobody really wants to debate. Everybody wants to have these little narratives. Nobody really so it is what it is. But anyway, I gotta go. And Solo, I appreciate the $10 super chat. Like I said, I was actually gonna go way before you came on. So yeah, I gotta go. But yeah, hit me up on my email, man. Just do something. Yeah. Anyway, with that being said, you friend her on Facebook. Okay. Yeah. Yeah. With that being said, this is Edward signing off. Well, I appreciate you admitting that. I appreciate you admitting that. It takes a big person to admit that, because that's some shit I would hide. But you're not the only one. It's dudes to this day that listen to Cynthia G for some reason. With that being said, this is Edward signing off.